Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back, everyone. If you're connected to a team, maybe you're responsible for a business, maybe you own one, or maybe you're responsible for a nonprofit organization, collaboration is key. Getting everybody on the same page, working together to achieve a common goal. Sounds easier than it really is. How do we do this? And we're going to talk with an expert today. She's actually, aside from helping people along the way as an amazing coach and also a consultant, she's worked in the nonprofit area for many years. So we're also going to put the microscope on collaborating with nonprofits. She's our professional of the year. Carey joins us on the program. How is everything going with you today?
It's going really well.
Excellent. Thank you for being back here and providing the insight that we need. Collaboration. I see why this is a challenge. I work with nonprofits. I'm on the board of a few. And getting everybody on the same page, even scheduling a meeting, is a challenge. Because everybody has these crazy schedules. I have emails from just an hour ago. I'm not even kidding and it's a survey that we're taking to see who's free when so that we can pick a time and date where most of us are available. But again, the point here is it's not easy to get people on the collaboration page, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I have a lot of experience with collaboration. I was actually the president for many years of the Parasol Community Collaborative in Incline Village, Nevada.
Wow.
So I've done a lot of work around collaboration, and it is a fun but hard job.
Whose job is it to make sure collaboration flows easily, or is it a group effort?
I think it's a group effort. First of all, I think you have to understand what are the benefits of collaboration, because a lot of nonprofit leaders don't understand that. And they feel like, oh my gosh, we're competing with this organization for funding. We have different philosophies. We don't serve the same people. I mean, you can find a zillion reasons why not to collaborate. But the important thing is there's a lot of positive things when you collaborate. First, you maximize your reach. You make more of an impact in your community. No matter what your mission is, it gets extended out. You're able to serve more clients. You're able to use your resources more efficiently. It gives you an opportunity to apply for grants because you're serving this broader connection. And donors appreciate it because there's a lot of donor fatigue out there.
Yes, for sure. Something just clicked in my mind here that if you want to have effective collaboration, and it sounds rhetorical, but many times I believe it's not clear, what the goal and mission statement is of the organization. I mean, crystal clear values, all of that in everybody's face, so they are well aware of it. Because if you don't know, if you're not 100% on that page, how can you truly collaborate?
Oh, absolutely. Totally agree. And I think one of the things that's really important when you look at collaborating with another organization, you need to make sure that your values align with the other organization. You may serve different clients. You may be serving the same clients, but in a different aspect. You may be serving, being an arts and culture program, for example, and you may be working with children. So yes, your mission is a bit different, but thinking about how can you work together to bring more clients for both organizations together and create some positive things happening.
Interesting point you bring up, because a lot of times I think collaboration within one organization. So everybody's collaborating together. You bring up the point of two organizations teaming up to collaborate so they both can prosper and grow. Can you give us more insight on that? Because that's a unique situation.
Yeah.
Or even an example, an example, so it's even crystal clear.
Okay, I can give you several examples,
Great.
but I'll say what's really important is, first of all, the executive of any nonprofit who's looking to collaborate with an outside organization first needs to make sure that he has a relationship with his staff that's team-oriented, where there's trust, et cetera, and that they're actually already collaborating within their organization across programs, and that your staff understand the importance of collaboration by having better outcomes and increasing your outreach. So once you have those in place, and your board, educating your board so that they understand what collaboration is and how it could benefit them, then you do some research. If I was an executive director and I wanted to work with a nonprofit, say a food organization, who does a lot of education around people eating healthy, and I'm an organization that provides services to women and children because of, let's say, domestic violence or sexual assault or any of those kind of areas, how could I work with that organization? I've done that. First of all, you need to look and say, okay, how do our values work? How similar are they? Is the other executive director someone who is willing to take a risk and wants to really extend their outreach? So what you do is, as you first start with programs, okay? If they have a program on education and I'm working with women and children, then what we can do is collaborate and make sure that our families are attending their programs. And they, in turn, when they're doing an intake or spending time with their families, if they recognize that they have some issues around domestic violence, then you make a referral. So you start with the program piece, working together. That's going to increase your numbers for both organizations, and it's also going to allow you to provide additional services to people that you may never have reached on your own. Okay? Then, once that's working, and I think the things that are really, really important is that you trust each other. That there's open communication, that you really emphasize transparency. And if they have concerns, let them, feel comfortable to bring them up. And then you help them find solution. And you could do a small pilot project, something real small, sort of like what we're talking about. This is not, this is not a brain surgery. This is a pretty simple, easy collaboration. But then you want to look at, okay, so this collaboration is working really well. Our values are aligned. I have a good relationship with their executive director. Our staff are working well together. Then you look at, okay, let's look at fundraising, which for many nonprofits scares the bejesus out of people because they don't want to give money, or they don't want to tell who their donors are because they may lose funding. So how can that work? Well, you look at what are the resources that each organization has around fundraising. An organization that I had lots of volunteers, hundreds of volunteers, where the food organization had limited volunteers and limited staff. But they were really good at providing amazing, healthy food, which we need at our fundraiser. So really looking at the donor aspect of it and saying, okay, do you mind sharing your donors? And we'll share ours. And then you come to realize, that first of all, most donors donate to more than one organization. And often you'll find that you're serving the same donors. The same donors are donating to each of those nonprofits.
Thank you for saying that, because my mind has been swirling with a question based on that point. The donations are so important.
Oh, absolutely. They're critical.
And you collaborate with another nonprofit, and collaboration can also happen with vendors. I mean, I believe, you're working with another company that can offer something you need and you can connect them. But if you're working with another nonprofit, you both have the same goals, helping people, but also making money for the organization.
Absolutely.
I was going to ask you, how do you protect the mother load, that be the donors, because it's so important? But you're saying that it's okay to give up the donor list, if you will, and for yours as they will for theirs. I never expected you to say that, multiple people donate to multiple organizations, and they may be donating anyway. There could be some cross-pollination, but my first thought is, I don't want this organization that we're working with to scare a donor away where they say, well, I have a certain amount, so I'm going to give it to the other company instead of another year of giving it to yours.
But, first of all, there has to be a huge amount of trust between those organizations.
Sure.
And what you need to also realize is that most people who donate to an organization, they donate it because they're passionate about that mission.
They're loyal. I'm detecting they're loyal.
Absolutely. So, it's not that you're giving up, you're working together. And I have found that donors really appreciate the idea that they only have to give once. And yes, they can make a larger donation because it is going to be split somehow between the two organizations, but they're only asked once. And they trust both organizations to know that they're very effective and that their resources, that they're pulling their resources together so they're more efficient.
See, that's a key point right there. Strength in numbers, how you both can prosper and grow. I'm the skeptical one. I'm sorry. I don't ride negative.
That's okay. A lot of people are.
Yeah. It's like, you have a company and you're afraid to give information to another company. Maybe they're a competitor or whatever it might be. You're just trying to, protect. But, it's also said that you need to mentor others and give up what you got going on there because you're all going to prosper. Is there an example? I'm curious about collaboration. Is there an example that you can give of two nonprofits that partnered up or worked together for the greater good? Don't need to mention the names. It could be, this was organization to support women. This was an organization, children, whatever it might be. Anything that comes to mind?
Oh, yeah. The example I'm just talking about.
Okay.
Did fundraising, did programming, And I think that if we can get away from the idea that, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose all this money, and think about, why am I in this position? Why am I here? What is the mission? If you can focus on that, I truly believe that your donors will appreciate that, and that you end up actually making more money, which we did,
Wow.
than you ever did as a single entity. First of all, you have resources that you might not have had. Like, for example, the one nonprofit had connections that we didn't have for silent auction items, different people in the community, and we had different ones also. So when you put those together, you can really make a bigger impact. And with that bigger impact comes more people attending your fundraiser, more tickets purchased, more donations, and a camaraderie that happens that, when you do have a challenge as a nonprofit director, you now have a partner you can go to and say, listen, this has come up, and I don't know if you've experienced this before, but do you have any suggestions on how I can handle this? So you have a team member who's not part of your organization, is removed a bit, but still very close with you and has those same values, which are so critical.
One thing, many great things you've illustrated here, but one that really stands out is the resources. So let's say you partner up with an organization and you want to do a silent auction, or you want to do a regular auction. You need an auctioneer. That other organization does one once or twice a year. They have a fantastic auctioneer. Not everybody can do that.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
fair price they charge, and that can be referred over to you, and vice versa. You have an entertainment company that takes care of and sets everything up and gives a great rate to a nonprofit. You can share that with the one you're collaborating with.
Absolutely. The benefits are just monumental.
Yeah.
They really are. I just love collaboration. And I think so many people, and I know quite a few people that are not collaborative.
How do you mean? How do you mean?
They stay in their little box.
Okay.
Fearful that someone else will apply for this grant or will steal their donor, and what good is that?
Yeah.
It's not good for them. It's not good for the people they're serving.
It seems like it's a mentality shift as well, where you need to take the reins off a little bit and broaden your horizons, and believe that it's going to be better for all. Right.
Absolutely. And the other good example is a small organization doesn't usually have the staffing that maybe a larger organization has. They may have a paid person. Like, we had a paid person who did our fundraising. They did not. For them to put on any significant size of a fundraiser was monumental because they didn't have the resources. So the executive director and the staff worked these crazy, crazy hours that were just ridiculous. And who suffered? Not only the staff suffered, but probably the program suffered some too, because there's only so many hours in a day.
And there was probably potentially some disappointment from those attending the event because you were stretched so thin. So some things could have went through the cracks. We could have been at a venue and it took them an hour to serve dessert because nobody was able to watch it because it was all hands on deck at that time.
Exactly. And boards appreciate it once they understand collaboration.
Yeah.
And they're not fearful. that all of a sudden they're doing this big fundraiser, and now instead of having 12 or 8 board members, they have 20 board members that can help them sell tickets, can do different things at the at the fundraiser to help make it a success. And the other really positive thing is that collaboration is really big when it comes to grants. Grantors love to see you making a bigger impact, and they love to see nonprofits working together. So that is a no-brainer.
And then another thought too, there could be an organization that's very similar to yours. Mm-hmm. Maybe you're not going to collaborate directly with them. They may be located in the next county or the next 2 counties over, and you can reach out to them and work with them. And there's no cross-pollination because they're outside of your region, but you can gain so much information connecting with them.
Right, absolutely. And the other thing that I forgot to mention was the whole aspect of duplication of services. When people sit down and truly work together, and you find out exactly what the mission of the other organization is and who they're serving, you might find that, oh my gosh, we're serving a certain segment of your population. And, that's not good. Because believe me, there's enough work out there for everyone to do. We don't need to be duplicating services. And donors and grantors really don't want to see that happening.
Yeah. They take pride. They take pride in the organization that they donate to. They don't want to see that there's some issues there or things fall through the cracks. This is what you do. Your background, aside from coaching at this time, was working with nonprofits for many years, right?
Yep. 32.
Wow. I knew it was up there. I didn't know it was it was 3 decades. Wow.
I don't want to say too much because you'll know my age.
If I could tell you how long I've been on the radio and still am, I'm not going to. Okay. I tell everybody I started when I was 3. How do we connect with you, Karen? What's the best way? Somebody's involved in a nonprofit and they would like some coaching, some consultation to kind of make things move a little bit smoother. How do we do that?
Email me. My email address is KS as in Sam, Carey, CAREY @charter.net. And visit my website.
Website is?
www.thrivecoachingandconsulting.com, and spell it out.
Beautiful.
And I just have an African proverb that I want to say that has a lot to do with collaboration, and I love it. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
I love that.
I do too. I used it in a grant that I was collaborating with.
You think I'm making this up? I'll be using that later on today. I'm not even kidding. I'll be at a nonprofit. I help them and have another meeting later on tonight. And just that quote, proverb, whatever, speaks volumes. It really does. It does. Yeah. Strength in numbers. Thank you so much today, Karen, and we'll catch up next time.
Okay. Sounds
Appreciate
good.
It.
Okay. Bye-bye, Steve. Take care.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.